Hello everyone, welcome to episode 100 of the Timeless Podcast. If you don't know who I am, I don't blame you. I'm George, I'm one of the founding members of the Timeless Podcast, and still in the bio of of the actual Spotify listing, still says Alex and George talk about shit. I can't believe that we're at 100 episodes. I can't believe what Alex has been able to do with this platform. It's amazing. The scale of it blows my mind just a little bit. The people that we've both met along the way as well. It's crazy. I remember being sat in a classroom with Alex and we were having a discussion about series 11 of Doctor Who, and we just looked at each other and went, we need a podcast. We need one. It's a necessary development now. So we did, and we talked about Fugitive of the Jadoon, and we enjoyed it. And I think that's one of the only episodes we ever actually filmed, or if not the only episode we actually filmed in the same place. The rest of it has been recorded online at all times, or my part of it at least. I can't believe that Alex has managed to edit together 100 episodes of this. It's crazy. Please, everybody, enjoy this 100th episode. And here's to the next 100. See you later.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 100th episode of the Timeless Podcast. We've made it. We've not been cancelled, to my knowledge, at least. I'm joined by John, Elijah, Adam Amoon, Rees, and Beef. And guys, this is the big one. We have literally, as you've seen in the title, we have ranked every single Doctor Who story.
Quick note, the Timeless Podcast may have been cancelled between recording and broadcast.
In which case, you're not seeing this. But, yes, how are we all? Are we excited? John, I'll go to you first. 100 episodes.
I've had a god-awful week. I've spent the last 15 minutes stressing about the final tweaks on what we're doing here today, but I'm happy to be here. I have every Doctor up until the year 2019 behind me, so I'm happy.
There we go. I was also totaling up, John, beforehand, because I wanted to see how many in the first 100 episodes you've been on. How many do you think it is?
Okay, so what? I know my first one was July 2020. So that's over the course of 21 months. So maybe 40?
Close, 35. Exactly is how many you've been on. So
does that make me your number one contributor? Does this mean I start getting money?
No, because I don't get money. So if maybe once I start making money, which is why today we're sponsored by. No, not yet. If only.
Hang on, I mean, for you to start making money out of this, I've got to stop swearing, haven't I?
No. As long as it's after the first 30 seconds, you're okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank fuck for that.
Yeah, exactly. But also coming in second with 9 appearances. That's how the gap is Adam and Moon. So it goes from 35 to 9.
Oh, nice.
Owen would be second, but he's not here. So, and Owen would be on 14. So Adam and Moon is on 9.
Well, that I'm one away from double digits. So
well, this is it.
Yeah.
Well, this is it. This is your 10th.
There we go.
And Elijah's been on 2.
Technically 3, but 1 has vanished from the archives.
It'll be on the DVD extra. A Blu-ray exclusive. Beef, how are we doing, mate?
Yeah, superb. Yeah, well done on making it to 100. You bested Betty White. Well done.
I don't know what to respond to that.
Thanks, Philip. No, Timeless Podcast 1.
And Rees, how are we doing? You seem to be stuck in the vortex, but we know it's Somerset.
Wow. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah, no, fine. I'm very intrigued to see what these numbers are, and yeah, so how it goes.
Right. So quick ground rules, by the way. So we're all going to be able to contest throughout for listeners. So there might be some where John goes, "This should not be here; it should be there," and we've all individually, as people, contributed out 10 scores. So John, I know, as you guys have been told, has some issue with the certain person's scores on certain stories. So if John sees one of those, there's going to be some call outs. Remember, everyone, this is a safe space to for listeners that we are all friends. So if we do say some stuff, you might be like, "Oh, they're a bit of a dick." We're all good mates. So if we do, say certain things, it's because we're friends. Don't worry.
I mean, we were good mates until this spreadsheet.
Until
the end of this
Okay.
podcast.
Right, here we go then. Let's let's rip the band-aid off with an average of 1.5 out of 10, and the worst Doctor Who story of all time is the Battle of Ranskor av Kolos. To quickly go through this, I will quickly list off the people that contributed to this. So there was John, Adam, Rees, myself, Beef, Elijah, Owen, Connor, and Richard. For reference on this one, John gave it 0, Adam gave it 3, Rees gave it 1, I gave it 0, Beef gave it 0, Elijah gave it 0, Owen gave it 2, and then Connor gave it 1, Richard gave it 7. Richard scored half the points for this episode alone because it got 14 out of a possible 90.
I don't know what the people who scored it 2 or 3 were smoking, but whatever they were smoking, Richard was clearly taking it intravenously.
The Battle of Ranskor av Kolos. Is this deserved? I'm going to say yes, it is. And the reason I'm going to say that is because it's a Doctor Who finale, which is shambolic anyway, but it's a shambolic finale even more so. The fact it's a finale of a series is fucking tragic.
There are over 300 stories on this list. The Battle of Ranskor av Kolos is one of only 2 that I consider to have absolutely no redeeming features.
agreed.
Yes, it's an absolute waste of space. It's a waste of the characters. The only good thing in it is Bradley Walsh, because he's doing the best with what he's got, and he does have a few good scenes. But yeah, also I want to say this now. I know Chibnall has some interesting titles. Where was the fucking battle? That's a great title.
Brilliant.
The Battle of Ranskor av Kolos. I can't wait for that. Oh, the
Well,
battle's
just like
already
everything, it was lost in the editing.
the battle had already happened before our characters got. So the interesting bit of the story had happened before our characters had arrived.
Hang on
Okay.
a second, Howard. Didn't they make this one during the pandemic?
No.
Oh, there you go. That means even more that it's just dog shit.
Right. And I mean, but while we're on the subject, because she's bound to come up later, people really need to fuck off with this pandemic excuse, because Russell T Davies would have been able to make midnight during the pandemic.
Okay. Ad, you gave it the highest score out of any of us here. Is there any? I know it's bottom, so is there any defense of Ranskor av Kolos you want to give us?
Well, I suppose I don't feel venomously angry with the episode. It's just one of those, it exists. The Doctor's speech at the end was, quite nice. And as you said, some decent scenes with Bradley Walsh. I suppose if I would give it 0, it would be kind of no redeeming features. I mean, that's sort of basically my main thing. It's just like, it's something, it's there, it exists. I don't really feel too angry about it, or yeah.
Well, don't worry, Ad, because you gave the next one a 0. So
There
Battle
we go.
around Skor av Kolos, it's shit. We do have a bit of a jump up though. So from 1.5, we go to 2.2, scored 20 out of a possible 90. It is Journey to the Center of the TARDIS. Oh dear. Again, another really good title. That sounds great. Joe sent the TARDIS. Oh, awesome. Oh, wait, there's a big red button. Oh, it never happened. Huh?
Hate swimming pool libraries, Alex.
For a start, it's a waste of a decent guest cast.
Yes.
Both of those bottom 2 episodes have wastes of good guest cast.
Yeah.
But yeah, legitimately, this is one of the most frustrating Doctor Who stories ever, because surely the TARDIS technically is limitless, and they absolutely fluffed it.
I mean, this is the worst story in series 7B, which is going some.
Yes. Yeah, I think this one's really weird. They decided to get one of the coolest concepts of the series to be a lot of fodder for Clara. How do you exist? What are you? A trick? A trap? I'm like, what the hell's going on? Then you have the two. Is it two brothers or are they three brothers? One of them's an android, but he's not an android or something. I'm going to be honest. I rarely go back to rewatch this one. It's a shambles. Anybody in disagreement? It looks nice, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I've said that only 2 episodes have no redeeming features for me. This isn't one of them. Jenna Coleman is very watchable. As a red-blooded heterosexual male. The concept's nice. There are some nice visuals in it. Aside from Jenna Coleman. But yeah, I mean, nothing to push it into getting half a point or a point from me. But it's got that I can find something to enjoy in it.
Yeah.
I mean, with me having the highest score out of those who are on the podcast, I'd just like to defend the reason I gave it the score I did is because that was the season that was airing when I first got into Doctor Who. So it's like more of like a nostalgic kind of.
Oh wait, when was your
Didn't make
first?
much
What
of a
was your
difference.
first episode? What was your first episode?
Well, it technically would have been series 6 on Netflix, but I watched it as it went out, series 7B.
Oh my god, we had
So,
the same start
yeah.
point. I didn't know this. The Bells of St.
Crazy,
John,
right?
what a banger, isn't it? Oh, I enjoy that one. Computers and Wi-Fi, aren't they scary?
Spoonheads.
Oh, shut up. Thank you. Sorry, I forgot I changed the C words computer. So my Echo is now, so instead of saying the word, so I just
C
said
words.
the word the word computer sets off my Echo instead of Alexa. There you go. Right, next one, here we go. Right, again, this is not much of a jump up now in terms of scores. It only goes up by 0.4, and it is the Peter Capaldi story, Sleep No More. There are a lot of Capaldi fans in the house, but how are we feeling about this one?
It's abysmal dog shit.
I don't think it's justified being in the bottom 10 because even a bad Capaldi story has Peter Capaldi, who always gives it his all. There is always plenty to enjoy in a Capaldi performance. He's one of a couple of doctors that has that thing where he is immediately watchable. I mean, is it his best story? Absolutely not. Is it his worst? Probably not. But I think that he does lift it enough for it to not be in the bottom 10 of this list.
I disagree, John. Unfortunately, I think
You would.
is
You're not a Capaldi fan. You would.
No, but like I said, it's dog turd. It's complete bullshit, and Capaldi's not even good in it. Like none of the cast are good in it. It looks horrible. No, like the fan cam sort of, that's a dreadful idea.
A waste of Rees Shearsmith, though.
A waste of Rees Shearsmith. That Mr. Sandman song can get in the bin. Fly it to
What?
the moon.
That's the only part I do like.
Oh,
Is the
kill the
song.
moon.
And then the sleep dust creatures. Woo. No, this story is one of the worst, if not, I think it should be in the bottom 2 personally. I think Jones at the TARDIS is better so far. If you had to ask me, Capaldi's rubbish in it. The entire guest cast rubbish in it, apart from Rees Shearsmith. He has the coolest bit, which is the ending, and that's because the credits pop up. So
I'm sorry, but PCAP never puts in a bad performance as a doctor.
Oh no, it's not his fault. He's got nothing to go with. But neither does Matt Smith, and he's rubbish in Joe Set the TARDIS because he's got no good dialogue.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that there are a couple of actors whose performances as the Doctor will lift any story, and PCAP is one of them.
What are we saying? Sleep No More, guys, jump in. This is not what I'm going to go to directly. Just jump in. What we saying?
Well, as a story that aired on my birthday, I was very disappointed. Very disappointed.
This was an episode where I decided to say to my friend who left after Matt left, because Capaldi was old and we were like 15. He was like, "No, I'm not watching anymore." I was like, "No, it's actually all right. Watch it." And obviously, this was the episode that was on. Safe to say, he didn't watch Doctor Who again. He was just like, "Yeah, no." And I was like, "What?" But yeah, Rees, Adam, Beef. What we saying? Sleep No More. Does it deserve to be bottom three? Is it good? What we saying?
I think there are ones that really should feature lower than that. I think it's because I got into a big discussion about this a few years ago. That this is one of those ones where the narrator of the story is completely unreliable, so you don't know what to believe or what to trust. But it also sort of, like a few Capaldi episodes, does fall victim of the sort of Raiders of the Lost Ark thing, the same way as In the Forest of the Night does. If the Doctor didn't show up, it wouldn't make any difference to the story anyway, which is always a bit of a problem.
Because then the Doctor becomes an observer and it sort of takes out all the, I wouldn't say tension, I suppose, but in a story, especially in a story like Sleep No More, where it's supposedly meant to be creepy and consistently moving, I just falls flat for me. I just find it really boring. I don't get, what is that? Is it called like the grouch or whatever? What is it called? The supposedly, I can't remember what they're called.
I couldn't tell you because I only watched it the once.
Yeah, the mute character that finds love, kind of like a Frankenstein's monster sort of thing. Yeah, also the found footage style. Don't like it. It's rubbish. Don't do it again. Style over substance. Yeah.
At least it was an attempt to do something different, though. That much I will give it a bit of props for as well. They tried to do something different.
Right. The next,
which isn't always easy after 52 years.
That's like me trying to walk. It's like, it's not really a good idea, is it? So why would I do it? Even though it's different.
You could try.
If it wouldn't go well, kind of like Sleep No More.
It'd have comedy value.
Yeah, unfortunately, Sleep No More didn't do that. Right, here we go. The bottom. This is going up one now. This one's even closer in terms of contention. So this, obviously, Sleep No More had a 2.6. This is 2.7, scoring 19 out of because I haven't seen it, and neither had Owen. So only 7 people scored this, but it still ended up with an average 2.7. It's the Tom Baker story, Underworld. Now, the person I'm going to go to on this one is Adam Mamoon. He is our Tom Baker expert. Does it deserve to be here? Is it tripe?
As a fan of the Tom Baker era, sadly, I can see why. It's not a particular. I think they tried to do the whole blue screen thing and it didn't quite work, but quite an interesting experiment, I suppose. And I sort of gave it the 1 because there's some decent scenes with Leela. Louise Jameson, I'd say, is an absolute highlight of the story. But other than that, there's not really a lot to praise, unfortunately.
Cool. Anybody else want to jump in? Because I literally have nothing to say here on this one. I've not watched it.
At the start of this podcast, I said that there were 2 stories I considered to have absolutely no redeeming features. Unfortunately, this is the other one. It achieves the seemingly impossible by taking Jason and the Argonauts and making it boring.
Ouch. Anyone? Is that just the Iron Fist? Would we say this deserves to be lower in people's eyes than Sleep No More?
Yes.
Dad, what we saying? Underworld, Sleep No More. You're the one that gets the final say. If both episodes are in front of you, and you had to pick one
to go in the furnace.
Alex was holding a gun to your head.
Wow.
You wouldn't be able to pull the trigger.
I don't know where I'd procure one either. Or why I'd be doing it about Underworld or Sleep No More. It's a bit of a weird question.
Timeless podcast, Patreon exclusive.
I mean that's hypothetical.
You're standing in front of the BBC furnace where they put a lot of episodes of Doctor Who. Which one?
They've said we can pull Marco Polo out, but one of these two has to go in its place.
Yeah. Right, Ad, what we saying?
So is it which one am I saving or which one am I throwing away?
Which one are you throwing away?
Sleep No More.
Okay. Okay, so Underworld is officially, obviously it
I
would
mean,
be
surely
staying there
that's
anyway.
1 versus 1. That's not a casting vote situation at all.
I know. I went to our Tom Baker expert, copyrighted.
The
Hey,
selection's
you went
rigged.
you went
Fake
you went to a Tom Baker stan and said, "Do you want to throw away a Tom Baker story or a non-Tom Baker story?"
Yeah.
Here
This
we go.
was a fair and free election.
Anyway, rounding out the top 5.
I mean, that's that's like walking up to me and saying, "Which of these 2 dogs am I going to shoot, Sparky or this other one?"
I'd say none of them. I don't want to shoot dogs.
Yeah, but you put a gun to my head.
No animals were harmed in the recording of the time of podcast.
Right, rounding out the top 5 is The Underwater Menace. Now, Adam and Moon, if I'm not mistaken, you've not seen this one.
No.
But why?
Maybe because it's bad. So Ads, if you don't mind, it's like a game show. I'm going to freeze you up for this little conversation. It's like, what is it? The wheel. Where you have to get rid of one. This is you right now. You're in the Reds. This does break my heart to see a Troughton story in the bottom 5, but is it deserved? Yeah. I don't know if I'd agree that it's his worst story. I think there are 2 others that are contenders, but it's certainly not brilliant, is it, guys?
It's one that could benefit from a full animation, to be honest, because animation has done that for the reputations of other stories over the years.
The only redeeming factor is the instrumentation, the soundtrack. I love it.
And the
Rees
overtop villain as well is quite a bit of fun.
So you like the villain, Rees?
Well, just for laugh value.
Nothing in the world can stop me now.
But yeah, no, I think I don't know if this is bottom 5 of who. We're going to get to a couple. Well, we don't all know what would be my bottom. I can't see it in sight at the minute, which is very, very stressful. But yeah, I don't think this is bottom 5. But yeah, it is pretty rubbish. Beef, what we said, Underwater Menace. Is it right to be here? 3 on average. Got a 3.
Yeah, I'd say that's an average. And I would echo John's sentiment. It's one of those ones that would probably in the modern day benefit from having an animation because more people will probably look at it.
Yeah, like Adam the Moon. What a fake fan. He's watched Underworld, but he's not watched Underwater Menace. I mean,
I know. It's crazy.
I mean, it's literally before it in the alphabetical list.
Indeed. Come on, do you not watch your Who in storyline order?
Of alphabetical order.
Alphabetical order. Wow. Yeah, that'd be an interesting marathon.
Yeah, what would it end with? Don't know.
We're including Big Finish, probably Zagreus. Oh no, Zygon Inversion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it would. Right, so we go up one, and this has got an average of 3.1. This is one that I didn't expect to be so low. It's the Rebel Flesh and the Almost People. Now, this is my least favorite Matt Smith story. It's tripe. It's a waste of 2 parts. Get it in the bin. Even Stephen Moffat didn't like it. Does it deserve to be bottom 5 or bottom 6? I don't know. John, I think if I remember correctly,
I'd watch it over In the Forest of the Night.
Yeah, I think that there are some other quite notoriously bad stories that I would put below this. I'm quite a Smith fan. I mean, particularly the first season and a half I like. And yeah, I don't have a huge problem with this story.
It drags a bit, yeah. I mean,
it's
one of those
in 2 parts, is it really?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones where one part probably wouldn't be enough, but 2 parts is too much. So it would be better to have been like a sort of like
Not-
1.5. But the thing is that the guest cast in it are good for the most part, and they're more of what actually invests you in the story, I think, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I think it suffers from. It's essentially, it's weird that it's a setup story to how to explain to Amy to get to point A to point B, and that's really its only purpose, is to go, how can we teleport Amy later on in the episode? Well, it's via this technology. And we had to spend 2 parts explaining that and the war between them and who is real and what should equal rights and stuff. And it's a good story. I think Rory's really good at it, actually. I think he's the one of our mains that gets the better storyline. But yeah, it just drags. Like, it's boring. Like, people.
It tries to tackle a big concept, but falls a bit short of the mark.
Yeah,
because the message gets sort of jumbled.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. But yeah, no, I think it's fair. I don't know. You're not a fan of this one, are you?
No, I think it was one of those. I sort of remember on broadcast, I wasn't properly engaging with the narrative, I suppose, and I was just craving for the sort of trailer for Good Man Goes to War, because I was sort of hearing all the rumors about what would be happening, what was going down. So at the time I wasn't confused, and I haven't gone back to it since, but it is one of those stories that I reckon upon reflection might be one of those, oh, maybe, could give it another shot kind of thing.
Placing one above that, though, is Orphan 55. And here's Alex's controversial opinion. I think this is way, 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 way too low.
I think you're talking out your ass.
I don't think it deserves
It's
to be
a
in the
waste
bottom
of guest
7.
casts.
I don't think it deserves in the bottom 7 of all time.
I mean, you have James
At all.
Buckley.
Yeah, but
James
he's rubbish.
Buckley.
He's rubbish. In apart from the In-Betweeners, in which he's
You've
playing
been cancelled.
himself, essentially.
So you're saying
Not really.
So you're saying that one of the main guest stars is rubbish, and you're still saying that this shouldn't be in the bottom 7 of all time.
No, I don't. I love. what's the
Alex
name?
Kingdom
Wilma?
Logic, ladies and gentlemen.
One of the big criticisms of the current era is that it's too political. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think Doctor Who has always been political, but it has never smashed you in the face with its politics with a fucking sledgehammer like it does at the end of this story. If Malcolm Holt was alive to be watching that, he would be spitting out his tea at the fucking television screen.
Which spelling is that?
But 2 L's.
I have to say,
and Chibnall probably knows that Malcolm Holt will be doing that, which is why they deliberately misspelled his name in the Legend of the Sea Devils credit. I mean, this all of the criticisms that people have been throwing at Chibnall Who for like a season and a half by this point, and weren't really justified. All of a sudden, in this episode, Chibnall went and fucking justified them.
Well, I didn't give it the highest score, so maybe I shouldn't be the one batting the corner here. I'd pass over to Ad and Anoon. I don't mean Ad watch this one as a drunk watch along to the words Benny. And I'll tell you what, it's a good time. It's a good time.
I mean, if you've got a family show and you're saying that it works better if you're watching it drunk, then there's your fundamental problem.
I think it's just good anyway. I think it's solid anyway, to be honest with you.
It does. It falls down the trap of a lot of the Whittaker era episodes is make it look like something else, but can you change your homework up a bit so it doesn't look like what you're copying? And you just get that Mysterious Planet aspect out of it straight away. The worst part is the first 2 minutes where you think it's going to be a base under siege story actually comes across quite good, because it seems like proper peril terror, and they're going for like an all-out one, and then it just descends into like a really bad comedy.
I took off half a point for every time I heard the word Benny.
I big up Wilma. She's the best character in series 12. She should have been a companion. Much respect. have to say.
She's the best character in series 12. Literally, the series that introduces the fugitive Doctor and the Dawan Master.
I don't. Okay, the Dial Master, you got me. I think Vilma's better than the Fugitive Doctor, but we'll get into that.
And the podcast has been cancelled.
Look, we've spoken about my opinion of the Fugitive
It's
Doctor.
taken 36 episodes, people, but Alex Kingdom has stunned me into silence.
No, I'm taking the mic there. Obviously, Vilma is not a better
Okay.
character than the Fugitive Doctor. But you guys know that I'm not a massive fan of the
Isn't
Fugitive
-3 like the worst character as well? It looks like John Candy out of Spaceballs, for fuck's sake.
Doctor. Yes.
I mean,
But I don't know,
the dregs look great until they turn the fucking lights on.
that
The
was
horror
always
sequence at the start is great. It's like, but then
yeah,
yeah,
that's always a bizarre concept to me to turn them into because it was really good alien style sort of working.
And also, it's the only time I've ever seen Doctor Who try to do a hentai joke at the start.
And on that note,
Oh my god, this is, isn't it? This is the one where the TARDIS is full of alien spunk at the start.
It's full
Yep.
of it's a big
Oh,
giant
my
tentacle.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I've been collecting the coupons from the newspaper. What newspaper? I don't know. That thing that is a plot device that we need to go
It's
someplace.
just, here's your supper before bed on Sunday night, kids. Get to watch
Oh.
Doctor Who just before you go to bed. Mummy!
okie dokie. On that note, we get to our first draw of the show. It's a 4-way draw. These episodes are all rated 3.3, and it is in no particular order: the Gunfighters, the Highlanders, Time Lash, and In the Forest of the Night. What are we saying? Are these all? Is this fair to put them on the same pedestal?
I think In the Forest of the Night, I think, would, for me, be lower than the others. I think In the Forest of the Night is one of the only Doctor Who episodes that actually has some quite dangerous messaging in it. Again, it's kind of saved by the fact that Capaldi's there. But there's dangerous messaging, there's annoying kids, there's the continual romanticizing of a toxic relationship that we get throughout Series 8. It ain't great. I'd put it lower than Sleep No More.
Yeah, I would agree with you put it lower and more. I think there are some better elements here. For starters, it's not a blimmin' found camera episode, which means it's actually watchable. That give me a
Just
headache.
because you really used to fancy Peppa Pig as a kid, and it's got the voice of Peppa Pig in it.
No, wow, no. Maybe I don't think I've used to watch Peppa Pig as a kid. There you go.
Just as an adult.
I think Alex was more of a Thomas the Tank Engine fan.
I was, as you know, Elijah. But
He still loves a Tommy Tank to this day.
Oh Christ! I think Time Lash is out of the two I've seen. Obviously, I've not seen or heard the Highlanders, but Time Lash is by far worse than the other three.
No, Time Lash has Paul Darrow.
Yeah, but he's.
I don't mind Time Lash.
And it has tinsel.
Yeah.
a lot.
I'll say
of
special
tinsel.
effects on the Blu-ray.
Yeah, Paul Darrow literally chewing the scenery for 90 minutes makes it very, very watchable.
Yeah, but it doesn't because it's rubbish.
It does.
The Gunfighters should not even be in the bottom 50 for me. I'm a fan.
Yeah, that's one where the reputation kind of
Yeah, there's this.
enjoyable.
Yeah, there's this. I don't know, a little bit of this fan hatred towards it, and I don't get it because it's sort of, don't besmirch my boy Hartnell, man.
How is the Gunfighters in the bottom 10?
What one of the big defenses that you get of recent episodes like Legend of the Sea Devils, it was just fun. I'm sorry, the Gunfighters is more fun.
Yeah, the Gunfighters is a lot of fun. Yeah, no, I have to agree. I think it just I think it is just a lot of fun, like you say, John. It's one of those episodes. I love oh god, I love the fact that the premise of the episode I do genuinely like is that the episode starts because the doctor's got a bad tooth. I think that's hilarious. Like, and the fact that he's scared to go to the dentist is brilliant, especially now that we know how the character's evolved as well. That would never, I think it's brilliant. The only thing that's bad about it is the Last Chance Saloon
What?
song that plays
That's
over
the best
Hey, the
part.
banger.
over and over and
Yeah.
over and over again.
Every time they play it, the points go down.
That would be a fun drunk watch along every time they sing the song.
You'd be wankered by the end of it. Yeah.
So you
Yes.
don't want to sing along when it comes on?
My hands
No, I
over my ears, yeah.
No, I don't.
Rest in peace, Linda. Yeah, what's the name?
Linda. It was Linda Barron, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Highlanders, for those who have listened or watched or what have you, do you want to give us a
Yeah, I mean, for those with missing episodes or sort of not much footage, I basically marked them based on either the BBC sort of CD narrated soundtrack releases or the sort of Target novelizations, which is why I've consumed pretty much every story in one form or another. So yeah, I based it off of that, and it's not. I think it's one of those ones where, is it one of Troughton's best stories? No, but is it also the introduction of an absolutely iconic character?
Exactly.
Yeah. Does it deserve to be down here? Fuck no.
There we go. And in the like we said, I think we've spoken about all of them now. For me, if I had to wood them, obviously without putting the Highlanders, it would be Time Lapse Bottom, In the Forest Sunlight. Then Gunfighters shouldn't be here either, to be honest with you, in my opinion. All right, we got another draw next though on 3.4. It is the Saranga Conundrum and The Woman Who Lived. Now, these are both tripe. I'm going to be honest. It's a toss-up for which is terrible. I prefer the Saranga Conundrum because at least for 20 minutes you got one good side character until he gets.
I mean, one of them has Maisie Williams, so there you go.
Is that a positive or negative?
A positive, in my opinion.
But it also it's got shit Mufasa from The Lion King and Rufus Hound just not doing anything. I mean, let's talk about that first. So obviously, this was the
what I like about it is that it makes a change for the Doctor to actually go back somewhere after they've been there. So there's a repercussion to the actions that the Doctor's done, and you see that, and that's what I liked about that. And it was a case of that the character was left unhappy, as opposed to happy as a result of what the Doctor did. So that's why I like it more certainly than the Saranga Conundrum, which is just exposition after exposition and pointless busy work with a fucking awful little character called the Pating, who some people love.
See, I'm gonna stick up for Saranga here because I actually gave this 7. So of those of us that are here, I marked this the highest. And the problem with a lot of Series 11, and particularly a lot of the first half of Series 11, is that you get stories where not much happens. You cannot level that at the Saranga Conundrum. I'd rather have a story where there's too much going on, which there is here, than something like, say, the story that follows it, which we'll be coming on to later, where nothing happens.
But I think the Saranga Conundrum could have been better had it had been a companion light episode and it had just been the Doctor, because then when it's spread amongst the three of them, it just becomes trite.
But I would say this: at least Saranga has an interesting villain, unlike Woman Who Lived. I don't care about the Pating. The Pating is an awesome thing, and it's really cool.
It's a great little concept.
Yeah, I love it.
you know, and it's one of the few things from the Whittaker era that people will immediately recognize.
It
what the
would have been a
preference-
great idea for, merchandise. Oh wait,
Yeah.
they don't make merchandise.
No, they don't. I mean, they did do a Funko with the Pting, though.
True.
You know,
Yeah, of the merchandise that they made, the Pting was on a fair bit of it.
and I think we live in this world now where you can go, oh yeah, that's blatantly for marketing. But now a lot of things are blatantly for marketing. When you look at the Marvel films, Iron Man would randomly get a new suit. He didn't need it. It doesn't do anything different, but it's there because they can make an action figure at that. You know.
Yeah, I think the two things from the Whittaker era that are original that are immediately marketable are the Pting and the Kablam Man.
Yep. And overall,
And if it wasn't you so fucking much, the sonic screwdriver, but it's everywhere, and it's all over the Saranga conundrum too.
I like, oh god, I like the fact that in this we got an interesting villain. I think the side characters again they kill off the best one, which is a bit of a shame. But I think overall it's kind of nice the fact that it's the first time in the eras where Jodie gets shut down by a side character. She gets told no, I'm in charge. That's the first time we really see that for this incarnation of the Doctor. Because it's a shame that he gets killed off. I think overall it's interesting. I think the woman who lived is boring. I think Capaldi's got nothing to bounce off of because I thought it's Maisie Williams who is as boring as anything. Sorry, Elijah. The character of Mia Rashilda is the most wasted thing, and why Series 9 is so shit. But hey, that's just my opinion, and we'll get to some more later down the line. But Rees, what we say is Woman Who Lives, Saranga Conundrum, thoughts?
I don't really like this Saranga Conundrum, but I think I'd rather watch it than The Woman Who Lives. I just find it quite boring and I haven't rewatched it, I don't think, since the originally podcast.
What about yourself? What we saying?
I gave both the same rating, so I'm not quite sure.
Again, but apparently that guns to your head. I don't know why we went with this analogy.
Another minute, there's an episode going to come back.
But
just your choice.
You got to throw one in the bin. Which are you throwing?
The Saranga Conundrum.
Okay, there we go. I think overall, though, I think it's a 3-3 tie, so it doesn't matter. Right, next up with a score of 3.6, and this should be lower, it's Fear Her. You've also got stories where essentially no kind of, redeeming qualities. This is one of them where every RTD character is at their worst. They're all super annoying. Tennant's terrible in it. The villain is an interesting concept of things that can get drawn, then, can be taken away. But then the whole concept of it kind of gets flipped and changed for the end because they couldn't think of a resolution. So now the drawing can move, I guess.
Yeah, this is dog shit.
Yeah.
And okay, it's got Council Kell, who's an absolute legend.
I was going to say that's the best part of that episode.
But worse than being dog shit, it's a missed opportunity because it takes away the opportunity that they could have had 6 years later to tell a proper Olympic story during the Olympics.
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah, you just
gold.
There are very few Doctor Who episodes that make me angry, but this makes me angry.
This is one of those again where it's just the concepts. The concept in and of itself is good of something that can be drawn. That's a cool idea. I like that, but they waste it on a child.
I mean, it does have Frank Butcher's mum from EastEnders.
Does it?
Yeah, Mo Butcher's in this one. She plays it. You'll be unsurprised to find that she's the old woman who's the neighbour.
Yeah.
You can't play Fortnite on the PC. Sorry, every time I think of this episode, I just think of the Doctor Who poop version of it now because I've seen that more than I've seen the actual version of the episode. But yeah, no, I think I think the concept's really good. Like I wish this. It's really poor in execution.
I'm looking forward to somewhere in the archives or someone in their private collection having all those really shitty drawings and it be the pride of their collection, to be honest with you. Because
Yeah,
I bet someone's got them.
I think the biggest thing that lets us down is, amongst other things, is that they kind of bin off the concept and they go, oh, the drawing has to move now because we can't think of a resolution. So even though it's literally been drawn on paper, the Doctor can now point to a torch and the characters can figure out what that means. I guess it's really bizarre. It's a letdown. It's why series 2. It's not just this episode. It kind of sums up series 2, especially the latter half.
I mean, it is the worst episode of series 2, and that is a series that includes Love and Monsters.
Indeed. Next up, though, 3.625, and I have to stress that because the other episode above it is 3.6, is The Twin Dilemma. Now, I've not seen this one, so I pass off to my lovely array of guests to explain, is this in the right place?
Colin's great in it. It's about the only thing.
We're good.
That's it. That's
Believe it or not, guys,
That's it.
I'm going to have to ask for a bit more.
Well, no,
No,
that's what I'm saying. You know, Colin's great in it. It's about the only thing. I mean, you say you're going to have to ask for a bit more, but you're getting through 150 episodes in this, and we've taken an hour to do the first 15.
Yeah.
There we go.
This is good.
So,
Podcast.
Okay, Colin's great.
there are points where you're not going to have to ask for more.
I forgot we're outside the top 10 now, bottom 10. Right, next up, Doctor and the Widow in the Wardrobe. It's not the worst Christmas special for me, but
Okay, I noticed my score isn't what I would have gave it. I don't know why it's a 7. But okay.
it's here now.
It's a 7. All right.
Cool. Is that fair by everyone? Thumbs up, Doctor Who in the Wardrobe, bottom 15.
Yeah, boring as fuck.
Right.
Yeah.
Waste of Bill Bailey.
Is he in it?
Exactly. So yeah.
There's a lot of good guest cast in it, and it's just
That's
What's her name? Claire Watts is in it, isn't she?
Arabella Ware.
Arabella Ware, Alexander Armstrong.
Yeah.
And annoying kids.
Very annoying kids.
Yes. Annoying.
Not as bad as Angie and Artie, though.
It's disjointed, makes no sense, and it's just boring. No one cares at the end of it.
Next up is Praxis, and I don't know why this is here because it's worse than Orphan 55 for me. But hey,
It's not worse than Orphan 55. If Orphan 55 hadn't happened, Praxeus would be a thoroughly decent episode. The only reason that Praxeus gets talked down is because it's the second episode in the space of 4 that deals with environmental issues. If we hadn't been smashed in the face with a sledgehammer by Orphan 55, Praxeus would actually get some of the respect it deserves.
And who do you think changed the script?
Although yes, it should have been a Sea Devils episode.
Yeah, it's poor, it's boring, needlessly complicated, and like John said, it should have been the Sea Devils.
But instead, they decided to shoehorn them in somewhere else, and then not even make them Sea Devils.
But according to Pete McTeague, it's not his original story. It was changed,
Wouldn't surprise me.
but not by him.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. I wonder who could have done that.
next
But
up
they're
is-
not going to be working again very soon.
Yes. What happened there? You okay?
Oh yeah, there's a little bit of an allergic reaction.
There you go. Right. Everything from now on has got 4 or above. So it's the Space Pirates, Warriors of the Deep.
I think
right.
Rees should take this one.
Yes.
Yeah, Rees, do you want to kick off on this one?
Richard gave it an 8, by the way, Reese. So do you want to contest that?
Give her what?
Give it an 8.
Yeah, that's a bit too high, now. That's a bit too high.
I mean, you're a big fan, I've heard.
When you're forced to watch, it looks cool, but it's you got the Merker and
Justice for the Merker.
I still think it should have been higher than it was because there is certain elements to it that are fun. But it's unintentional comedy because you get more comedy value out of watching it than it's meant to be as a story.
I mean, it's bleak as fuck, which is pretty decent actually, because Doctor Who is rarely that bleak. You know, you rarely get a story where literally everybody is killed, and that's what happens here. And I love the idea of, you know, they've only got one, you know, the whole kind of key to the nuclear weapons and stuff is actually a person, is a trained person. I think that's great. But yeah, it's another one where it would have benefited a lot from literally having about half of the lighting that it had.
There we go. Next up, we've got
Legend.
next up we got The Girl Who Died. I do think it is better than The Woman Who Lived. However, it's still rubbish. Is that fair?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Next up, we got a three-way tie again. We've got The Eaters of Light, Kill the Moon, and Four to Doomsday. Four to Doomsday is, I really enjoy it. I gave it a 6. I think it's fun.
I don't understand how The Eaters of Light and Four to Doomsday can be level with Kill the Moon, which is dog shit.
Kill the Moon is dog
I
turd.
enjoyed Kill the Moon.
You know, the moon's an egg, and
Until
then
it's not.
all of a sudden at the end, we're going to give everybody on the planet the right to choose whether we bought the moon or not. Except, of course, it's not everybody on the planet, because only half of the fucking planet is in nighttime and can turn their fucking lights on.
And then also the creature could just lay a new egg after being born instantly.
And 3 words.
What's wrong with that? You don't know the
And-
reproductive cycle.
And 3 words. Courtney Woods. Urgh.
Also, the Doctor, I know obviously they were like, Capaldi's Doctor's a bit of a douche, but in this episode, they just turned him into a mega dick for no reason. They're just like, he's like, peace out, nerds. Like, I'm going. See you later. For no
Yeah,
Just
reason.
that ending, isn't it?
At least he's a fucking dick to Courtney Woods, who deserves it.
Right, next up, here we go. This could be Battle 1. It's I think it's, next up is the first John Pertwee story. It's The Mutants with a 4.375 score. I don't think you need to go at Rees for this one, mate, because it was Owen that gave this one a 1.
Well, there's a reason that he's not on this fucking podcast. Isn't it?
Would you want to defend this one, John, or do you think this is kind of fair? I know you're a big Pertwee stan, but in the shake-up...
I stand by what I always say about Pertwee. Yes, there are bad Pertwee episodes, but I will take bad Pertwee episodes above mediocre episodes of pretty much any other Doctor, because they have Pertwee. His charisma, his performance, his energy that he gives to literally any old piece of dog shit that he's given, like this, lifts it up. Is this the best story you're ever going to see? Of course not. You know, I've seen it said that the best thing about this story is Jeffrey Palmer, and he dies 10 minutes into episode 1. In Rick James, we probably have one of the worst guest performances you will ever see in Doctor Who. But it's still got John. It's still got Katie. It's still got John and Katie together in their chemistry. And yeah, it's maybe overlong. More could happen in it, but there's enough to enjoy in it. I mean, watch the first 30 seconds of The Mutants and then try not to laugh if you're a Monty Python fan.
Never seen any Monty Python stuff, so
Well, then
I'm lucky of
that wasn't an
serious?
introduction to you.
I'm not surprised, but are you serious?
You're culturally bankrupt.
Next up, we got a draw between the Space Museum and Nightmare in Silver. I only put the Symphony. Nightmare in Silver should be above it just for Matt Smith's performance alone. Matt Smith is glorious.
Oh no.
The Space Museum's a pile
No,
of wank
no,
after
no, no,
part one.
no.
The Space Museum is terrible after episode 1.
I'll tell you my thought process going into Nightmare in Silver, right? Oh wow, Neil Gaiman's written a Cyberman story. He wrote The Doctor's Wife. I really enjoyed The Doctor's Wife. I'm gonna fucking love this. Oh. Oh shit.
I'm
That
sorry.
was another.
Please, I
That was
want
another
those.
script that was tampered. wasn't it?
Please, I want those children to die. In fact, not just those children, everybody.
Timeless
There we go.
podcast quotes out of context.
That's going to be in the podcast clips. But no, Elijah, I have to question this because you did rate Nightmare in Silver higher than the Space Museum.
Did I?
You gave Nutman and Silver. You gave
mean,
Nutman
I
and Silver
did,
a 6.
well,
Elijah's like,
I
I
did.
didn't do these scores.
Well, I would change them, flip them around.
Flip and reverse it. Okay. Next up,
and
we've got another
reverse.
3-way tie, all on 4.5. Is Time Flight, Crotons, and the Dominators.
Alex, you watched Time Flight for the first time recently. What are your views?
No, I think it's dog shit, mate. And how is it even higher up than any of these stories? It should be right on the bottom of the fucking pile. There's no redeeming qualities. It's a waste of fucking space.
What about
and a
Peter
waste-
Grimwade?
Fuck Peter Grimwade 2.0. I've said it again. I'll say it.
Alex
no,
Kingdom.
I think it's a kitsch classic.
For the second time in a month, Alex Kingdom cussing out a man who died 30 years ago.
I think it is.
Oh, you're brave.
That was a waste of an hour and a half of my time. It's a waste of Peter Davison's talent. It's a waste to be even described next to the name of Doctor Who. It's dreadful. In the bin, it belongs.
I mean, I would say at least the other two aren't racist.
Indeed. There we go. They beat Time Flight
That
just
is something.
because of
I
racism.
think it's a kitsch classic. And I'm sorry, I love the alien stuff out of it.
Beef. You gave it a 7.
Yeah, I think it's a kitsch classic.
Beef, go fuck yourself, man. I
think it's one of those ones. It's just sometimes kitsch is good. It is.
No, it's not, Beef. No,
I mean,
not.
I mean, obviously, this, as I said on the recent Time Flight podcast, this follows straight on from Earthshock, and rarely has Doctor Who gone from the sublime to the ridiculous quite so eminently.
There we go. Yep. I can't disagree. Next up is New Earth. Safe to say this is the worst post-regeneration story. Oh, kind of. It's not even really, is it?
I mean, it's not, is it?
It's not.
Yeah.
It's. Oh, I forgot the Christmas invasion exists. Okay, it's just Dog Turd. It's a waste of time. There's Cassandra, who is written really sexual for some reason in this. We talk about Moffat over-sexualization. That is very over-sexualized. Tennant's not really great in it. The face of Bo's in it. It's a waste of time.
What's wrong with the face of Bo?
Yeah, you made that sound like it's like a negative.
I don't like the face of Bo.
I mean, it's a lot. It's significantly preferable to his penis.
the penis of Bo. Anyway, moving on. Next up, The Reign of Terror on a 4.6. I've not seen this one. Is that fair placement?
For a Hartnell, just because it's Hartnell, I agree with the placement. I think the Space Museum should be above the Reign of Terror in Hartnell's terms. The animation just doesn't work.
Does the Doctor kill someone in this? Doesn't he like beat them with a cane?
To death? To death?
I swear he killed. I swear there's a bit where like
The spade, I think. The massive spade.
that's it.
I think it's that one, yeah.
There you go.
Look, we knew our first Doctor was prone to violence from the from the very early days.
And look, if you didn't, Moffat was going to tell you. But next up is Terminus. Creature from the Pit. Sorry, Adam. Another. But this one's interesting. How is Arachnids in the UK shithoused itself this far up? It's level with Closing Time, and I've never said this in defense of James Corden, but Closing Time's better.
But Alex, it has Stormzy.
I'm a big fan of Stormzy. You know, is it and all that, but I'm not gonna agree with not gonna. It shouldn't be this high up. There are some stories that are better.
I mean, what I would say for this is it only has one alleged sexual predator in it, whereas there are going to be episodes further up this list that have got 2 or 3.
Oh, there we go. Fair enough. I actually kind of enjoy Closing Time a little bit. I can't lie to you. I think it's.
I prefer Closing Time to The Lodger.
I like the football stuff, but
No, sorry. The power of love defeats everything. Get fucked.
I like Beef. just hollow on the inside. Well, funny enough, John, next up is the Lodger. Just beating it by literally 0.1.
Not much of the Corden factor.
Then we got a whole host of episodes on 5, literally 5 out of 10. And that includes the Savages, the Smugglers, the Ribos Operation, the Mark of the Rani, the Lazarus Experiment, and the Curse of the Black Spot, and the Wedding of River Song.
Mark of the Rani should be higher than that.
For me, Curse of the Black Spot should be higher than
It's got Kate O'Mara, it's got Anthony Ainley,
Oh.
it's got Luddite.
Curse of the Black Spot should be high.
So hang on, are we saying that Curse of the Black Spot has done worse than more recent pirate-based episodes?
I would, yeah, but I'd agree with that anyway.
Apparently so.
I'd agree with that anyway. But yeah, next up we move on to another
Well,
tie.
I mean, I'm sorry, but at least it's edited.
True.
And I like the Rees Operation for some reason. I don't know why I do.
I've not
It's
seen
great. I
it.
mean, the White Guardian stuff's great, and it's got a lovely, Binro was right and all that. It's got a lovely guest cast.
Next up we got a 4-way tie.
Jeffrey
Beast-
Bowden. Is it Jeffrey Bowden in Ribos? I think he is, isn't he?
No, I don't think he is. No,
Is it Creature from the Pit? Is it Jeffrey?
it's Jeffrey Belgians in Creature from the Pit.
Yeah.
Who plays Binro in Ribos then?
I'm forgetting what his name is, to be honest with you, but he's like one of those. He's like the guy who plays Greengrass out of Harvey. I'm trying to remember his name. I can't remember it from right now.
It's a similar act.
But yeah, he's one of those great classic character actors who would show up in the odd bits and bobs and everything like that. And I love it. And it's and not being funny, you've got Romana in that massive white outfit and everything like that, and she looks a business in that as well. The costuming for that serial is astounding. It's some of June's.
Yeah.
Judy Baby's, top work, I think.
Yeah.
Timothy Bateson.
And I'm sorry, but the Wedding River Song's been absolutely demolished here. It's a good finale, and anyone can fight me on that.
Oh, please.
No, I enjoy it. I have a good time. I enjoy it.
Every worst aspect of Moffat, of which there are a few, is just very present in the Wedding of River Song. It's overcomplicated. It's up its own arse. When you look at the way that the series 5 finale resolved things, and then you look at the Wedding of River Song, you just sit there and you go, "What the fuck is going on?"
I've seen one of these scores.
It doesn't really explain much about Kavarian, which unfortunately, because Francis Barber is an absolutely dislikable human being, would have liked to have known more. To be honest with you,
It just doesn't. It just doesn't land. It doesn't land the ending.
I've
It's
got
the worst thing that a finale can do.
I got a question for you.
Have you got a gun to his head?
Alex, Alex, you don't put it like that.
Alex, stop with the guns.
You don't put it like that.
Stop with the guns,
Okay,
Alex.
time
Why all
for
this
this
violence?
Okay,
Sponsored by the NRA.
Adam, can Alex ask you a question?
This isn't a gun-related question. This was going to be a query about one of his scores, but okay.
Okay.
Why have you given Lazarus a 7?
I think it's underrated. Out of series, that and Gridlock, I think are the two from series 3.
But you're putting it on the same level as Gridlock.
No, Gridlock I'd rank a bit higher, but no, I actually I think it's quite good.
All right, there we go.
I mean, Phil Barlow's in the Lazarus Experiment. So all I can say to that is, I don't really know.
Okay, we got another 4-way
One of them
tie.
references for the kids, John.
There's a 4-way tie here, and I disagree with 2 of these. Kinder, King's Demons, Long Game, and Beast Below. What are the King's Demons and the Beast Below doing this far low down the list? The Beast Below is too good to be down here on an average of 5.1.
The Beast Below has been very underserved there.
Does anybody disagree with that here? No?
I think it's an okay placement.
5.1 on average.
It's not one that I go back, if I'm doing a series 5 rewatch, I'll watch it, but I don't go, I'm gonna watch The Beast Below.
Yeah, I really need some of me that winder action.
But no, I still do. But we're not even in the
Space
mid pack.
whales.
We're not even in the mid pack yet, though. Like this is still
So
below.
where on the list is this in terms of positioning?
This is 2, 5, 6. So
So we're saying this is like the bottom 6. There's no way the Beast Below belongs in the bottom 50 of Doctor Who stories.
No chance. I'd even back up the King's Demons here. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I think it's fun. Like Beef was talking about how Time Flight's a bit of fun. Oh, it's King's Demons. It's 2 parts. It's like 50 minutes, and it's fun. I have a good time. I can't lie to you. I don't know if I'm the only one with that.
Be good if they could get the robot to work.
Yeah. I don't know. I just have a good time with it. Long game. Does it deserve to be this slow? Yes, it's tripe.
It's a waste of time and Peg, amongst others.
And Kinder shouldn't even be this high up, personally. But there we go. And funny enough, next to it is...
But Alex, it had 3 actors from the bill in it.
Oh, great. We love the bill. Next up is Snake Dance, funnily enough. I've not seen Snake Dance. John, would you say it's better than Kinder? Or would you say how that is or not?
I would personally rate Kinder above Snake Dance. Snake Dance does have Martin Clune.
We all love Martin Clune. But Ad, what we saying?
Tomorrow.
You're normally our go-to on this. Is it Kinder or is it Snake Dance?
Oh, definitely Kinder.
Okay, so Beef, are you agreeing with this or are you disagreeing?
Oh, it's tough because obviously I like the sort of is it Neris Hughes? No, is it Neris Hughes who's in Kinder or what's
I
that?
think so.
Yeah.
Was she? Yeah, she was.
Yeah, that's it. That sort of enclave of you can't fix people, can you? But the thing is, I like Snake Dance as well because that was an episode that when I was a kid that sort of stuck with me as well. So I find it hard to sort of hate Snake Dance as well because that series and was one of the ones that I remember watching on broadcast, so I can't hate it too much. It's one of those. I can't hate too much Davison, really. That's it. No reasons.
Next up is the Crusades. I've not seen this one. What is that fair?
Novelisation, very good. It's one that I'd be interested to see animated because I'd be interested to see how they do certain characters. It's another one that had some sort of use of blackface in its initial broadcast.
Yep.
Then nothing else you can say on that apart from that's horrible. And yeah,
Probably
it would
best
be
not
interesting to see how they get around it.
It's a sort of standard Hartnell, but like John says, it's something that you'd want to see, and it's Julian Glover.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the parts are good.
All right, Elijah's gonna have to bat the corner here because next up is Last Christmas.
What's
And
wrong with Last Christmas, Alex?
It's dog turd.
It's a classic.
It's shit. It's a
It's a
waste of Nick
classic.
Frost. It's a waste of Nick Frost. It's
Well,
bollocks.
why can't Nick Frost be Santa Claus?
Nah,
Why
that's
not?
fine. Just the plot needs to be good.
Faye Marseille is the companion that we could have had, and we didn't get her.
And thank Christ for that.
Blame that on Moffat.
Whoa.
Hang on a second. People watch Rick and Morty and say it's a simulation with a simulation and say it's fucking excellent, but you can't have it in Last Christmas. Come off.
But I'm not a fan of when Rick and Morty does that. So
All right, Adam and Moon, what's your take? The Rick and Morty fan.
Yeah.
Would you prefer it with clarinets at the end as it was?
Yes.
Because it feels a bit
Because they-
hollow.
because they literally retcon it. You have the original ending, which they kept in, and then they went, "Oh shit, we need to film another scene." Oh look, there's the scene.
From an aspect of also representation, it is a bit bad. I think that you have the woman who wakes up and finds she's in a wheelchair and she's like really depressed at the end of it. I think that's a bit off and probably shouldn't have been done.
Wasn't great.
Oh, we do have Michael Troughton
Oh,
episode.
isn't but Elijah, you
that's
gave
a-
this a 10. A 10. So it's
What's
like one
wrong
of your
with that?
favorite Who
It's
episodes.
my favorite Christmas special.
Elijah, look,
Next
there's
Twice Upon a Time, and I know how you feel about that.
Oh Christ, how has that not been here yet? Actually, Jesus wept. But yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with opinions, mate. I just heavily disagree.
You aren't allowed to have one.
Next up, we have a three-way tie between Planet of Giants, The Rescue, and The Invisible Enemy. I've not seen any of these, so there we go. Armageddon Factor.
I mean, the rescue should be above those other two.
Okay, is everyone
I'd
fair
agree.
with that?
I'd agree.
Yeah.
Invisible.
Vicky's introduction story. It's a two-part story. It's very good. Excellent little story. The Invisible Enemy, unfortunately, though it introduces K9, it's one of the worst examples of effects that you'll find in classic Who. Really not very good.
And there's a lot of running about with very little reason.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It's got Michael Sheard, but Michael Sheard gives about 6 different performances across Doctor Who, and this is probably his worst of them.
So Rees, you're going to get this a lot as we get into the mid-pack and the upper echelon. But if supposedly The Rescue is a nice little solid episode, why do you give it a 2?
Disagree. I've never watched it once. Those introduces Vicky very well, but
The Tiger is listening.
that's probably still low down then, yeah.
There we go. The Armageddon Factor is next. Then we have, here we go. Can you hear me? Demons of the Punjab and Colony in Space. Demons of the Punjab.
No.
Demons of the
Oh,
Punjab
no.
should be in the top 50.
And can you hear me? Get out.
None. Can you hear me? No.
Though I rated it,
I like
though I
that.
rated it high, I don't think
Okay.
it should be in the top 50.
Okay, I mean, Demon to the Punjab is something that polarized people because I gave it a 0. Some people gave it a 2. Some people marked it really highly. I'm going to turn this on its head. Why have those that have marked Demons of the Punjab highly done so? Because for me, and I rewatched this today. I put myself through this today. The one thing that I did in preparation for this fucking podcast, I looked at the scores, I looked at the spreadsheet, and I went, okay, I'm going to rewatch this because maybe there's something that I'm missing that others are not. The music's very nice. That's it. It is Dollars Dishwater and fundamentally leaves out very important historical context in terms of its storytelling. Basically, it goes, oh yeah, India and Pakistan are fighting over land and it's all their own fault because they're fighting over land, completely ignoring the fact that this was all a result of British imperialism and the fact that when we pulled out of India, we literally just left everybody to it and went, yeah, we're not going to have a fucking plan in place. We're going to leave you all to fucking fight and kill each other. How the hell, in what is supposedly the most woke era of Doctor Who, bracket, it's not, it's actually very conservative in its politics, have they not taken the opportunity to actually provide some proper historical context behind that story? Sorry, dog shit.
I disagree. I can't, particularly comment on the historical side of it because my knowledge is.
So you can't disagree on the historical side.
Particularly, no, I don't. I disagree with you saying the word dog shit. I think it's a beautiful story. And I think, the argument of, the Doctor doesn't need to be there, I think is a moot point within that story, for me anyway, because I think it isn't about the Doctor, and not every story has to be about the Doctor for me.
It's not like the show's called Doctor Who.
Yeah, but you can have a side episode where the character doesn't need to be on the Doctor.
It's called a spin-off, Alex.
Yeah, they're called
No, I'm sorry. You don't.
Hang on, no, they're called spin-offs or they're called Doctor Light episodes. Doctor Light episodes can work very well. Blink, turn left. This isn't a Doctor Light episode.
This is better than both Blink and Turn Left.
This isn't a Doctor Light episode. It's an episode where the Doctor is there throughout and has nothing to do. Graham and Ryan have nothing to do. Yaz has stuff to do, but by the end of it, it's all fucking forgotten.
I can agree with you on that. I can agree with you that the repercussions of this aren't particularly well handled, but in of itself, I think it's a beautiful story. I
mean-
really enjoy it. I think it's some of the best of Jodie's era. I don't think it deserves to be here.
I don't say this lightly. It's the most overrated episode of Doctor Who.
There we go.
I like how the aliens look, and I like the concept of them. My controversial opinion on this would be, I like it because it's trying to do something, although it doesn't really the problem is it doesn't actually address the historical. I like it more than Rosa, because I think Rosa is just a cheap shot because it's easy to go for the story of Rosa Parks. Unfortunately, what they didn't do was they didn't try to tackle the bigger question in this episode, and that's my controversial take on this. I like it more than Rosa.
Yeah, it's a missed opportunity. There's a real opportunity there to actually talk about the politics of Great Britain in the 1940s, about how when we're coming out of empire, the way that we left the Commonwealth countries completely unsupported, completely unguided, and they completely dodged it. You know, they didn't even miss the opportunity. They didn't even fucking try.
I think this is one which we can have all day, and I think we should take for the.
Well, I mean, we can't have the historical context argument all day because you've said you're not in a position to comment on it.
No, exactly. I can't wait for the Demons of the Punjab podcast. I think that's going to be a fun one.
It's going to be this conversation, but across an hour.
Yes. But Rees, surprisingly, you said.
I mean, maybe read up on your history before that point, and we can have a proper debate about it.
I can't promise I'll do that. I'm going to be honest. I've got TikToks to watch.
There might be. There might be TikToks about the British withdrawal from India in the partition. You never know.
Yeah, but
I think you'd have a real corner on TikTok, Alex, if that's what you made your TikToks about.
You could start a whole new trend.
But Rees,
I think that as a white man in his early 20s from a quite non-ethnically diverse area of the country, you're perfectly placed to do those TikToks.
Oh God. Anyway, Rees, you said, "Can you hear me a bit low?" Explain that, because I don't get the hype behind that one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I do. It's one of my personal favorites from like series 12. I think it goes at a pace, minus like the Graham scene at the end. Apart from that, I think it's a solid underrated episode, I think.
I mean,
Anyway.
it's got.
I like the animated bit in there. I think that was
very
really
cool,
nicely done. I like what they did with Yaz's backstory there, and the sort of where they were talking about her mental health and stuff like that. I think that was very nicely done. Without getting too deep, cancer, because of my family history, cancer is something that is a real trigger for me. To see my hero treat somebody who has a genuine concern in relation to cancer that's dismissively was not good and was very jarring for me. But that's, I'd say that's about my personal circumstances, but actually it's about a lot of people's personal circumstances. There's a lot of people that are going to be in the same position as me who would have seen that and who for decades have looked up to the Doctor and have gone, oh shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was very, very jarring.
Yeah, it's
very jarring take.
It's not what I'd expect from a portrayal of the Doctor that tends to be quite compassionate. Yeah, it feels out of character.
Yeah, I have to agree. That's
it's all poo.
More dog shit.
Come
Okay.
on, the Sonic flying out of the pocket into the hand. No. Come on.
I mean, did you not know
Fuck
it now
off.
has lightsaber qualities? She's got the Force.
Okay. Also, combining this with Colony in Space, do we all agree that it's kind of? I know, John. Again, I'll go to you and ask: does it deserve to be lumped in with? I know, obviously, doing the Punjab, maybe not for you, but can you hear me? Is it that level? Or?
Colony in Space is Pertwee's worst story. It's worse than the Mutants, because it is overlong. It's boring. It's got a shoehorned in master. Pertwee's still great in it. Katie's still great in it, but like basically, where are we? What? 8 stories into the exile, all of a sudden he's on another fucking planet. Yeah, it's not great. But it doesn't say horrific things about how the Doctor responds to cancer, so it deserves to be higher than Can You Hear Me?
I can agree. Right. Next up, we got a lot of draws, so I'm just going to rattle them off. Time in the Rani and Meglos drew. I've not seen either of them. But
both full of pricks, but for different reasons.
then the Power of Kroll and the Awakening. True.
How has Power of Kroll come above the Ribos operation?
I don't know. Next up, I've got a problem. Hyde, Rings of Akaten, Let's Go Hitler. Rings of Akaten should be much higher. Much higher. It's so much better than It's so much better than Let's Go Hitler and Hyde.
Hyde should be lower.
Are you taking the mick?
No,
The only good thing about that's the speech.
No, it's the worst part of the story. I love it as well. No, seriously, I'm telling you, I love it. I love the set design. I love the fact that we just spent an episode with a new companion, their first time in space.
No,
brilliant.
I love Rings of Akaten for 40 minutes. It creates this wonderful world. It tells this wonderful thing, and then the Doctor gives this brilliant speech, and they go, meh. And then Clara goes, I've got to leave. And they go, oh.
Yeah, literally. That's why I hate that. That's why I hate
for 40 minutes, it's great because actually it does create a really nice little alien world and it looks great. It feels great. It unfortunately you just fucked it up at the end.
And you have Dr. Stalker at the start of it as well.
But yes, Rings of Akaten again in the top 50 for me. But it's one of my good pleasures.
I'm not sure that far, but
I know.
Hyde's poo.
Hyde's poo. I'd agree. Let's Go Hitler.
Another one where it's a waste of a decent guest cast.
Yeah.
Let's Go Hitler.
There's love at the end, isn't it?
But Doug Ray Scott and Jessica Raine deserve better than that.
Let's Go Hitler is good for one moment, which Rory punched Hitler in the face. Next up, we got a
But it is another
four-way.
example of that thing that Moffat does, where he makes the Doctor fall in love with and shag somebody, and then the Doctor meets him as a child. It's a bit off, isn't it?
You pointed this out the other day, didn't you? And I pointed
this out earlier today. Like, you think about it, right? Renette in Girl of the Fireplace, a Moffat story. Amy Pond, River Song. This has happened 3 or 4 times now.
We love to watch them grow.
Lads, guy's got a problem.
We got a 4-way tie between Full Circle.
His favorite song is "You're 16, You're Beautiful in Your Mind" by Ringo Starr.
There we go. We got a 4-way tie.
For legal reasons, just want to clarify, I'm not saying Stephen Moffat's a paedophile.
We got a 4-way tie between Full Circle, The Ark, The Massacre, and The Web Planet. Are we all
Web Planet deserves to be higher.
Yeah,
I think the Ark's been done dirty there. I like the Ark.
Then we got a 3-way tie between Cold War, should be much lower, 42, and The Keys and Marinus. Cold War, it should be in the bottom 20.
I think The Keys of Marinus should be higher.
yeah, without a
I
doubt.
like Cold War.
Cold War.
Keys of Marinus is great.
I don't understand how Extremis and that trilogy is above The Keys of Marinus.
Well, who rated it low? Rees gave it a 4. So Rees, you've got to explain to do, mate, because
Which one? The Ark?
Keys of Marinus, mate. You gave it 4.
Keys of Marinus.
Explain yourself, Reese.
Reese Marshall, I'll give you the keys tomorrow, Anus.
They're complaining, Rees. So you've got to. Why'd you give it a 4, Rees?
Why are you hating on my boy?
I mean, that said, you've given it more than you gave Invasion of the Dinosaurs, and we'll be having fucking.
That's the bigger. Well, I guess it does a better job than the Key to Time. It kind of does what it wants to do in like the 6 parts as opposed to like.
You can't defend it. Though.
I'm giving it a positive. It's a random story, isn't it? Yeah.
So you're justifying a low score by explaining the good things about it.
I'm deflecting. Yeah, I don't know. Just not really. It's like, yeah, one done, cool. Fine.
I think to have an overarching story like that with the limited technical ability that they had at the time, that they had by the time you got to the Key to Time, and everything like that is really good. I love it. That should be way higher.
I mean, when you're looking at like a different set and different characters every week,
yeah,
you know, the brave move.
And the sets, I've got to say, I think they look good.
Yeah, big fan of this one.
Next up, we have the Extremis Pyramidal Underworld and the Lie of the Land triple threat. And then we have a draw between the Leisure Hive and the Censor Rights.
I would say that's interesting because you've got the 2 stories out of 3 there where characters are blind. I would say I really like Capaldi's blind acting. People have won Oscars for doing a lot worse.
Fair. I can't disagree with that. Censor Rights, Leisure Hive, similar levels. Are we cool with that? Along with the Black Orchid and the Wheel in Space, they're all level. And Galaxy 4, sorry.
I'm quite surprised, like, because Full Circle sort of blow at Ledger Hive, but I'd probably say Ledger Hive probably for me the weakest of Tom's last season. But you know, hey ho.
I'd say Megalos is probably the weakest of Tom's last season, but I would put Full Circle above the Leisure Hive.
Cool. Then we have the Sunmakers. We have the Sunmakers, the Romans, Arkham Infinity. I'm going to battle through these because I think they're all kind of.
Sunmakers and the Romans are probably a bit low. Cool. Sunmakers is a great little political story. The Romans is just a brilliant Hartnell historical. It does that thing where it sends all 4 characters off on different paths. They all have a great fun and then meet up at the end. It's great.
Yeah. I'd say Galaxy 4 is a bit low. It was lumped in with the Wheel in Space and Black Orchid and all of the monsters and all that. Just for the Chumleys alone. By the way, just quickly, how has Love and Monsters got above some of these stories?
I don't know how Love and Monsters is above the Web Planet, but
yeah,
Love and Monsters does have its fans.
Well, Connor gave it a 9 and Adam gave it an 8.
I mean, you probably shouldn't have named and shamed them, but it does have its fans.
Yourself, Adam.
As I was going to say,
shame.
you know, some people like a story where a man gets off with a bit of tarmac at the end.
There we go. So yes, after the
finish with a blowjob joke.
After the Romans, we have Arkham Infinity, Night Terrors, Victory of the Daleks, Next Doctor, Frontios. What is Frontios doing here?
Frontios has been very, very poorly served. That should be in the top 15.
Who did that bullshit? We're looking. Elijah 3.
What's wrong with that?
3.
I'm not a big fan. It's not.
Frontios is part of a wonderful double bill that you get in season 21.
The bill
where there's one story where one of the major guest parts had to be recast because the actor that was due to play him got murdered, and then a few stories later, there's actually a convicted murderer in.
Oh my god!
In the story. So
season
21 has somebody recast due to a murder and then a convicted murderer.
Yes, Frontios was level with Night Terrors, Victory of the Daleks, The Next Doctor, Androids of Tara, and An Earthly Child.
Frontios and Androids of Tara should be above those other stories, and An Unearthly Child should be slightly above.
Yeah, I would say so. As an opener and an introduction, to be honest with you, the Androids of Tara I find boring as fuck.
It's got Peter Jeffrey though, isn't it?
I think Victory of the Daleks has been a bit hard done by. I mean, I wouldn't put it too much.
Yeah,
there, but
I quite like
Not a fan. So
I'd say
it's a waste of Bill Patterson.
I'd say it's better than Asylum, which we'll get to literally very quickly. But I'd say it's better than that. But anyway, next up we have Time Monster with the 5.8. So we are getting like the very solid mid tier. Reese gave it a 3. John, do you want to say anything about that, or are we saying fair here?
3 for Naked Benton.
Oh God, that was the thing. I'm definitely not going to watch it now.
3. I mean, I'm okay. I mean, in defense of the Time Monster, right? Naked Benton.
John Pertwee.
fucking-
No, not John Pertwee. John Levine getting naked. No.
John Levine gets naked. I mean, literally, Dave Prowse. You've got fucking Darth Vader showing up in Doctor Who.
Mm?
Yes,
You taking a bit?
Plays
Wow.
he plays the Minotaur.
Yeah.
You know, it's one where actually the Master doesn't feel sort of shoehorned in. It feels like he actually has a purpose here. They go to Atlantis. Again, is it the best Pertwee going? Has it got the best effects? No. But it deserves to be higher than this, just for Pertwee and Delgado, the fact that Dave Prowse is in it, and the fact that episode 3 is an absolute banger, where the unit are sort of heading towards the university and they get fought off by like knights and fucking doodle bugs and everything.
There we go. Next up, we have even more of a draw between Ascension of the Cybermen, Time Heist, Asylum of the Daleks, Hungry Earth, Cold Blood, Dark Side Manhattan, and the Evolution of the Daleks. For me, the easiest leader here is probably Ascension of the Cybermen, followed by the Dalek two-parter.
How come Ascension isn't lumped in with the Timeless Children?
Because it's different.
Ascension of the Cybermen was crap. No, the opening of that is absolutely pants, mate.
No,
Come
you got
off
the
it.
Cyberheads, dude.
No,
That's the best
pants.
thing the Cybermen have done. It's the best thing they've done. It's better than
I'm
the
gonna-
RTD Cybermen.
I'm going to stick up for Asylum of the Daleks here because people are judging it with hindsight. Don't forget, at the time, we didn't know that Jenna was going to be in this. And that was a surprise reveal that, you know, that unusually for the Moffat era, they actually kept fucking quiet.
Mm.
So Jenna turning up was a bit of a, what?
I did not expect this.
And I think Time Heist is overrated.
It's
Yeah.
dog turd. It's dog turd.
I really do, and I think it's a criminal waste of Mrs. Delphox. To be honest, with you. Keely Hawes deserve much better. And it just being about 2 cows who, space cows who want to fall in love by the end of it. Nah, fuck off.
Again, that's what the Moffat thing is. Like, it all ends with love, doesn't it? It's like, oh, it's a love story.
I knew that
Everything
space. I knew that space cow was just a calf.
Everything is love. But yeah, I have a soft spot for Daleks and Manhattan Evolution of Daleks. I know it's a bit silly.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
that's-
hell
Second
no.
part of that story again.
Hell no.
The Evolution of the Daleks.
Thank you.
I got it. I got what you're trying to throw me out. No, it's got Andrew Garfield in it. I like the Dalek human hybrid thing. I think Martha's really good in it. I think the fact it's filmed in Butte Park in Cardiff, it's very good. Jesus Christ. I think it's a very good. I think it's a good episode. I enjoy it. I think it's fun. Obviously the worst part about it is Tallulah.
But I mean, I was just going to say it's got Miranda Raisin in it, and I can watch her all day. But you just slagged her off, you cunt.
I think it's the accent for me. Laszlo. But yeah, I have a good time with it. I can't lie to you. It's a bit of fun. It's not great, but it's one of those that, like, I think Reese, do you agree? It's not one of the best ones, but you can watch it quite easily and just kind of go, it's a bit of fun. No?
Did I say that? Yeah,
Are you
yeah.
not a- Are you not? I didn't say you said that. I said, would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah. I think it gets a bit overlooked, I guess.
Fair play. Okay. Next up, Return of Dr. Mysterio should be straight in the bin. Why is it not in the bottom 50?
No, do you know
Not
what?
that bad.
I think it's structurally, it's
Not too
actually
far.
pretty good.
It's
Um,
Capaldi at his worst. It's Capaldi at his worst. It's. I waited a year for this to see a bunch of nothing. A kid swallows something and becomes a superhero in my ass.
Nardi's on point.
Rubbish in it. Rubbish in it. Rubbish in it.
Oh, Alex.
He's not just sexy. You got the worst kind of story, with the whole half-faced creatures, and that never gets resolved. But again, I can't.
That was cool. The creatures from like Husbands continue to this one.
But wasn't Dr. Mysterio is like a Christmas special, so you don't have to have the Harmony Show follow-up, or you do meet them in what's it called, the River Song episode. They show up later on.
No, that's before. B.
Is it before?
This is after the Husbands.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's still fun. It's a Christmas episode. It's
terrible. It's dog shit. It's still not the worst Capaldi one, because unfortunately Capaldi got a lot of bad Christmas episodes. But yeah, it's dog. It's dog. Here we go. It's gonna be a fun one. These ones all got 6 out of 10. Timeless Children, Idiot's Lantern, Happiness Patrol, Warriors Gate, Pirate Planet, Planet of Evil, and Monster of Peladon. Timeless Children should be much higher than this. It's one of the best finales in Doctor Who.
Timeless Children should be in the bottom 5 and burned at the stake.
It's one of the best storyline concepts the show's ever come up with, and no, it doesn't shit on the legacy of William Hartnell. And if that's your complaint,
it's one of the most divisive episodes that Doctor Who has ever done. So it's scoring 6 out of 10 is probably about right.
What did I score it, Alex? What did I score it?
A nil.
A 0. A big fat 0.
It's Marmite. You either love it or hate it, and it's equal parts. So it's scoring 6 out of 10 is probably about right.
Oh no, I think it's fair.
You took Ashad, who was Via Darty, was a good character, and they completely neutered it. You got the Cyber Lords that look like
but they're cool. Cool.
I pissed myself. I pissed myself laughing for 5 minutes when they showed up. It looked like if Liberace was a Cyberman. It was ridiculous. I've destroyed all life on Gallifrey. Fuck off, mate. Come off it.
I now want Liberace Cyberman.
Well, you've got them already. It's in the Timeless Children, and it's just. I'm sorry. It's just absolutely contrived, and this is one person's individual fan wank. And that's Chris Chibnall's, and it's not good. And like we said after watching Legends of the Sea Devil, the Ko-Sharmas thing, the Doctor, booking out, and everyone completely forgetting the guy at the end of it. It's awful. It's fucking awful.
I mean, but other opinions are available. Elijah, you gave this a 9.
Yes.
You're trolling now, aren't you?
Can I talk through that?
I enjoyed it, so
the 9's right next to the 0. Were you just
well, also Richard gave it a 9. Oh no, sorry,
it was one of the better Chibnall finales.
It's divisive. That's what I mean. It's divisive. People will either score it very lowly or very highly. So getting 6 out of 10 is probably about right.
Like I said, it was one of the better Chibnall finales.
It's probably the best Chibnall finale.
I agree,
which says more about Chibnall finales than it does about the Timeless Children.
The Doctor doesn't do anything in the episode. All it is Joe Martins talks at the Doctor and said, it didn't matter who you were before, it's what you do now. And it's just like, no, it fucking doesn't.
I mean, what I would say is, and I'm not talking about beef when I say this, what I would say in defense of the Timeless Children is, it did make the right people angry.
Okay. Yeah.
So it pissed off a lot of the incels, and other people were pissed off too, but it pissed off a lot of the incels.
Yeah, but I do think when and I do it, without wanting to sound jingoistic, I do think it is a bit of a two fingers up to William Hartnell, in my own personal opinion. That's it.
We're not going to get into that debate because we could be here for forever and ever and ever.
I mean, we will get into that debate when it comes to reviewing the Timeless Children, Timeless podcast. And I think that we should invite people.
It won't be there. It won't be there. It's been done. It's not in our pot. It's been done.
Who reviewed it with you?
We did it when it first broadcast. It was 2 weeks.
Who reviewed it with you?
Me and George. episode 7 or
Right,
8.
I think it
Revisit
should be
it.
placed back into the pot so that the new crew can give it a review.
I'll pop it back in there in like a year's
Yeah,
time.
I think you should look at the ones that you did previously and put them in there because obviously they deserve a go with like Timeless Podcast 2.0.
I'll put them in there in like a year or so, just so there's like a bit of a breath or a gap.
Well, when it does come out the pot, I think the beef should be invited to provide.
of course he will.
Provide a counterpoint.
I love a mass debate. Anyway,
And I fell asleep watching it at some points. It was
I wish Beef still had his reaction video to it. That was pretty funny.
I do think that the Idiot Son on a 6 out of 10 is tripe. It's rubbish.
I like that the Idiot Lantern scored 6 out of 10 because it scored the same as the Timeless Children, which annoys you.
Fair enough. Obviously, Happiness Patrol, Warriors Gate, Planet of Evil. Planet of Evil should be much lower. It's the worst Tom Baker story I've seen. Boring. It's boring.
I mean, it's ironic that Happiness Patrol has scored the same as the Timeless Children because living as a Doctor Who fan in the Chibnall era can be a little bit like the Happiness Patrol sometimes because you're not allowed to say anything fucking negative.
I find the Pirate Planet boring.
Invasion of Time got just above that with literally 6.0625. Then we got another draw of Kablam twice.
Invasion of Time is the best 3 2-part stories you'll ever see.
Then we got a massive draw between Kablam, Twice Upon a Time, Listen, Tale Called Mercy, Planet of the Dead, and the Ice Warriors. Ice Warriors is better than all of these, and Twice Upon a Time and Listen deserve to be in a bin and fired off into space.
I quite like Planet of the Dead. It's got Michelle Ryan in a cat suit.
Yeah. Oh, but I dislike Kablam. I think it's the story's on its head.
I think it is another example where this supposedly woke era of Doctor Who shows its politics to actually be very conservative.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've got an Amazon type corporation who gets away scot-free. Oh wow, it was George, the mild-mannered janitor, who being your villain at the end of it. Nah, it's
Pertwee would have not have left that planet until he'd taken that fucking corporation down.
I mean, here we go. This is where Alex gets his elbows up. Twice Upon a Time got a 9, a 9, a 10, a 9, an 8, a 0 from me, as it deserves, a 5, a 1 from Adam.
You care to
Thank
explain
you, Adam.
yourself, Alex?
yeah, explain that one, mate.
It's dog shit. It wastes Peter Capaldi. He has a great speech at the end. He's shit in it. Pearl Mackie shouldn't have been in it, nor should have Matt Lucas. It takes away from her great ending at the end of The Doctor Falls. Unfortunately, although he's trying his best, David Bradley's terrible in it, but that's not his fault. It's down to the writing of the Doctor.
Also William Hartnell's dead, so that could be
I'm not blaming. No, I'm not having a go at his performance. I'm going to go at the writing. You can tell that Moffat had no plans to.
Richard Hurnell was unavailable also.
It's a waste. There should a regeneration story should not be a multi-Doctor story, in my opinion. It's a bunch. You want to talk about fan the first Doctor should not have been in
Alex, it's the ending of a cycle. Why not have your first meet the last of that cycle?
Because it didn't need to happen. I think personally, if the Doctor's outing is going out, it should be all about that character.
I mean, how cool is that?
You're saying that every regeneration story should effectively be the same?
In essence, yeah.
But it's more of like an epilogue, really, because you kind of got that.
Okay, it's an epilogue.
Just think about that. You fit a story in between the Doctor heading to the TARDIS in 10th Planet. Like, you just fit a whole nother adventure in there.
I don't care because I don't care for the 10th Planet.
Bear in mind, right? This is Moffat's final episode. This is Moffat's sign off.
And
I've not marked this very highly because there's elements that don't land for me. But this is Moffat's sign off, and what it is Moffat's love letter to Doctor Who, and nobody understands Doctor Who as much as Stephen Moffat does.
And what better way to have the last Doctor of that regeneration cycle being talked through how to do it than the first one that, well, before the Timeless Children, had to go through it themselves for the first time.
Yeah. There are elements of it that don't sit well. You know, the stuff where
The Clara.
Okay,
the stuff where the first Doctor comes across as a bit of a racist and a bit of a sexist and stuff like that. I don't think that sits well. But it's
the other
played for
elements
laughs.
that don't sit well are Polly's color of her outfit, because that's incorrect.
Mark Gatiss is terrible in it. And I'm a Gatiss fan, but he's terrible in it.
No.
No, he's
What?
terrible in it. And
And I love that. I love that little touch. Where I love that little touch where it turned out he was a Lethbridge Stewart. I love that.
bin it all.
Okay, Alex, we've already established that you're not a historian. Do you know much about the First World War and the history of the First World War?
I know about the armistice, yeah. Which is where this is set, right? With all the football and stuff.
That's very like an emotional.
Yeah.
No, I get
Thing,
that
but,
bit,
like-
but the issue is that you can't rely on that when the build up to that has been dog shit. When you have 45 minutes of one of the worst hours in Doctor Who history, and I'm saying that verbatim, you cannot build up to a nice emotional send off. It's up there with Time Flight for me. I gave this a lower score than Time Flight, I think.
Alex,
It's like nothing.
Just to clarify, right? 45 minutes of the worst hour in Doctor Who history. This is from a man who put Demons of the Punjab in his top 50.
And I stick to that.
Alex,
Uh,
you got scene recreations of the 10th planet. There's at
Don't care
least
for the
14
10th planet.
minutes of the 10th planet that has been recreated, sitting in a archive at the BBC.
That's the BBC. Yeah, I don't
Alex,
care.
Alex, do you even like Doctor Who?
This episode made me hate it.
So there's nothing
then-
you like about it.
Good
No,
comeback.
Nothing.
no.
The biggest
I like
biggest
this-
missed opportunity for me would have been if they'd got Carol Ann Ford back for that one.
That
That
I
would
do
have been-
agree.
That would
I
have been
do
lovely.
agree.
I agree with that. I like Capaldi's speech, but if you can really hook that into the episode, then cool. I kind of see that as sort of an aside after the plot's been wrapped up. I like the stuff with Clara at the end. I think why not? If you're going to bring Bill back essentially for an episode, because this episode wasn't planned, I can just tell this episode wasn't planned, and I can tell that it was very much rushed. And I think although Dave Bradley's doing really well with what he has is rubbish. Yeah, just no waste of time.
I mean, for
waste
something that wasn't planned, it works very, very well. There've been other episodes recently that weren't particularly planned, and
But COVID, John.
But yeah, don't forget about COVID, John.
Mhm.
Okay, then listen's better than Twice Upon a Time. So is a town called Mercy, a Planet of the Dead.
Town called Mercy can get fucked.
Whoa. Sorry, and
There
you
you go.
like Twice Upon a Time? Okay.
Yes, I do.
Ice
Because I'm a
Warriors.
Hang on, are we
Stan.
saying that? Are we
First
saying
Doctor
that these
Stan.
things, that all of these episodes have scored less than the power of 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite funny if you think back at like certain episodes haven't come up yet. What?
The Ice Warriors, I think, should be higher. It rated overall 6.1. I'd put it a bit higher than that personally. But then we shall move on to The Ultimate Foe and The Masked Man Dragon drew on 6.125. Then we get to the episode of the moment. Legends of the Sea Devils got 6.15625. Too low for me. There are episodes I can see above it, and I'm like, what? But,
There are episodes that we've already discussed, and I'm like, what?
We've spoken
This
about Legends of
should
the Sea
be a
Devils
lot
recently.
lower.
Then on 6.2, Oxygen, Bell St. John, Stars on Spaceship, Vampires of Venice, Doctor's Daughter, Castra Valva, and Destiny of the Daleks. Oxygen should be on like a 2 out of 10. It's rubbish. I know people like-
Destiny probably shouldn't be this high.
No. Oh, look, Rocks.
I mean, and that's even with having big
Rocks.
Ron from EastEnders in it.
Vampires of Venice should be a bit higher, but hey, it's a good
Yeah.
pleasure of mine. I like Vampires of Venice. It's I like it. And Bell St.
That's
John's my
where you're
first
wrong.
episode. Bell St. John is my first episode, so I've quite a bit.
Vampires of Venice is an interesting one though, because it's a very nice. It's an interesting concept to put vampires somewhere with a lot of water, which they can't cross.
Yes. Then equally you have Terror of the Vervoids and the Mysterious Planet on 6.25. Then you have Ambassadors of Death just above that on 6.13. Sorry, 6.31.
Let's have a little look at that one.
Rees gave it a 5, John, and so did Beef.
Too long.
And so did Richard.
Yeah, of all the John episodes, I just struggle with Ambassadors of Death because I just find it a bit boring. I love John stories normally, but that one I just struggle with.
I don't think anybody's done it too dirty here looking at it.
Next up, we somehow have the Shakespeare Code and
SpongeBob.
Planet of Fire. How is the Shakespeare Code and Planet of Fire beating some of the stories? Does anybody think? Does any? Okay, Planet of Fire is okay, but do one thing.
Yeah, I love watching it with the sound off.
Anyway, we'll move on. Next up, Mission to the Unknown. Ghost Monument. I think that is a beautiful looking story with a decent plot.
Yeah, Ghost Monument's been done a little bit dirty there. That's
I agree.
That's one of my favorite. That's
Alex, how have you not?
One of my favorite episodes of Series 11.
How have you not seen Mission to the Unknown? There's a free version on the official Doctor Who YouTube channel.
This is true.
I don't care about William Hartnell stories, but I'll get around to it.
Well, it's a good job that you don't care about William Hartnell stories because he's not actually.
It shows how much. It shows how much. That's why you like the Timeless Children.
Yeah. Well, you'll be fine. you'll be fine with Mission to the Unknown because William Hartnell's not fucking in it.
Oh, brilliant! Okay, that's why it got rated at a medium score. Also, I said the Ghost Monument. Sorry, did draw with the Caretaker, the Unquiet Dead, Dragonfire, Attack of the Cybermen, Nightmare of Eden. I'd say they're all mid episodes.
Nightmare of Eden should probably be doing a bit better. That's great fun.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And then just above that is Enlightenment, the Sontaran Experiment, the Abominable Snowmen, and the Myth Makers. Again, all mid episodes.
I'd put in a shout for Enlightenment being a bit higher. Again, I'm a fan of that one.
Okay. I will say now we are getting to like our final 10 of this episode, everyone. So
really, that's good because I need a wee.
Awesome. Okay, then Hell, Bent, and Robert of Sherwood on the same, as well as Angels Take Manhattan should be much higher.
Robert of Sherwood.
Robot, sorry. The Power of Three, Tooth and Claw, Down the Bannerman. These have all been done dirty for me. Apart from Power of Three is probably accurate. Down the Bannerman's good fun. Tooth and Claw is brilliant. And the Angels Take Manhattan's one of my favorite stories, but I know it might not be the best written. But
Dalton the Bannerman, I'm actually quite a fan of. I'm not the biggest Sylph fan going, but I do really like Dalton the Bannerman.
There are definitely. I think we've had Sylph stories further down that are better than. I think.
A few of these I'm thinking they should be mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
But Beef, are those stories in which Syl goes to Disneyland? Always meant to.
Well, he doesn't go to Disneyland, does he?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I like how that's the premise for the episode.
Power of Three should be further down, without a doubt.
Delta and the Bannerman deserves to be top half just for the line live from Wales, England.
Indeed. I like Power of Three, but again, I get it's just spending time with the ponds. So if you like the ponds, you're going to enjoy the episode.
Pond life.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, there were production issues with that, which everybody's aware of, which is why the ending doesn't land very well. It's probably relatively fairly placed.
Image of the Fendal and Mordred Undead were level on 6.6. Then a bit higher up level was
Image of the Fendal should be higher. It's a Chris Boucher, and all Chris Boucher stories are brilliant.
Then a bit higher than that, Marco Polo, Aliens of London, World War III, and Faithless Ones. What is Aliens of London done its way to shithouse itself this far up the list? It's terrible.
What has Marco Polo done to get itself this low on the list?
Yeah,
and
why
below
is Marco Polo at
and
666?
Below Eve of the Daleks.
That's
I tell you,
awful.
Well, next up is Eve.
666.
Next up is Eve of the Daleks with 6.8. sorry, 6.68. And then we get to another shithousery story. Dark Water, Death in Heaven should be bottom 20. What are the fucking again? One of the worst hour and a halves in Doctor history for me. Such a waste, terrible. Capaldi's awful in it. Michelle Gomez is terrible in it.
What?
It's awful. I'm sorry. It's
Okay.
terrible.
Okay, for a start, first 5 minutes, Danny Pink, one of the worst characters in the history of Doctor Who, gets killed off. Fucking brilliant. What you don't see, and it's a little special feature, is that I was actually driving that fucking van.
And he's registered with a visible issue. So yeah.
So the first time, PCAP is brilliant in it. Gomez is brilliant in it. Lovely little references back to the invasion. No, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, the building up of and don't forget there was the build up to this all the way through that season, and you had the idea of people in the afterlife, and it's like, I hope you didn't do cremation. Chris Addison is like on point on that.
I love Chris.
I
Addison
don't like the don't cremate me stuff. I think it's too dark for Doctor Who. I get the same people like it. It's not for me. I don't like the fact that essentially all the Cybermen are from dead people. I think that's a dumb concept.
what do you think Cybermen are?
Yeah, that's what
do you think
Cybermen
Cybermen are?
I know, but I don't like it's like reanimating dead bodies.
Have you ever seen the 10th
Yes, and I don't like it.
And not being funny, I want the spin-off Cyberbrig animated series. I don't care who hates Cyberbrig. I like Cyberbrig.
Yes, but definitely.
Nick Courtney would piss himself laughing at Cyberbrig. That's true.
Dark Water, Death in Heaven did come level with Seed of Death and the Daleks.
Seeds of Death's been done shit there.
Yes,
The Daleks.
Yeah,
needs to be
agree.
Who did that low? Beef gave Seeds of Death a 5, and Reese gave it a 4.
The Daleks needs to be a lot higher.
Seeds of Death, they're better ones.
I don't think it got that high compared to the other stories on this list.
No, I don't. Adam, if you could,
The Daleks is good, but it's just a little bit long.
Ad, if you can cast your mind back to about a year ago, roughly, when we did that massively long podcast called Doctor Who, the best, the worst, and the underrated. We both put the Seeds of Death as the underrated shout here, and I have to say that's rang true in this list. It should be much higher.
It immediately scores 5 points just for having Louise Pojo in it, who is the only person ever to appear in both Doctor Who and Prisoner Cell Block H.
Yeah, I have to just say, I think the Ice Warriors are great in it. I think
it's quality. It's just quality. The whole idea that we're all reliant on CMAT now, so we're not using rockets, we're not using space travel, and then this new technology gets used against us. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I have to say as well. I think John, obviously, I'm going to say this. I do think, although I enjoy Curse of Paladin, I do think Seeds of Death is better as an Ice Warrior story. But yeah, I don't.
Wait, where's Curse of Paladin on this list?
I think it's much higher up, but for me,
right, okay.
For me,
well, you're wrong.
But how can it take you away score higher than this?
No, I think I'd agree. I think the Seeds of Death works better as an Ice Warrior story. Bear in mind, the Curse of Paladin is not purely an Ice Warrior story.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I do enjoy Curse of Paladin a lot. But yes, as Beef alluded to, It Takes You Away is next. Should be much higher. Should be in the top 25.
Piss off.
No, easily.
No.
This is the best the Whittaker era has been.
Kill it with fire.
No, I don't.
With fire.
Very jokey. Yeah.
To start with, this got 10, 10, 10, 10, and then somehow it's been shithoused.
I'm going to say a little something here. There's something very important about representation and about seeing something that you can relate to on screen. Growing up as a kid, and even up until say around 5-10 years ago, if somebody had told me that there would be a blind character in Doctor Who being played by a blind actor, I would not have believed them. Is
Fair
this
enough.
is this the best that Doctor Who has to offer overall? No. Is it a top 25 story? Possibly not. Is it a 10 out of 10 for me for those very personal reasons? Absolutely yes.
Fair
And I
enough.
think we've all probably got those stories where
Mm.
they tap into something in you and there's a bit of a personal connection. And for those reasons, either you mark them very, very much further down, like I was with Can You Hear Me? Or you mark them highly, as with this, which is ironic because they're both written by the same person.
Yeah.
Without spoiling things, there's a story that we'll get onto in part 2 of this, which is in the top 5, which again hits me for very, very personal reasons, and I am ecstatic to see there.
Yeah. I mean,
I fully admit that I am not the most objective person when it comes to this episode, but for me, it's a 10 out of 10. For me, it should probably be in the top 50.
I gave it a 3 purely for the representation and the actor in it. It's an Ed Heim story, pulls exactly the same trick as you get in Orphan 55. It starts off at one thing and turns into something else completely shit, to be honest with you. It should have stayed with that there's something in the woods and they're stuck in the house. Kevin Eldon, who is an amazing comic actor, was completely wasted. The frog Solitract was just
Oh
like
God.
I love the solid
Frog.
track as a frog. I love it. I love it.
No.
Can I just say, I don't know whether I'm the only person in the world, but I sometimes love it when Doctor Who just throws something so stupid at the wall and just goes, "Do you know what, we're going to do this?" And the villain's going to turn to a frog and talk. I don't know what it is. I really enjoy that sort of shit.
But
The thing is, Chibnall probably thought that was brilliant.
But the concept
That's
of
scary.
the concept of the dad would ditch the kid to then go off there. You've got the glowing balloons in the end.
But there's more subtext to that, right? So I used to science the story, and B, if you disagree, but it's how the dad, again, and I can't speak for John exactly, but how the dad's struggling to deal with his blind daughter alone without his your partner there,
by leaving her on her own.
Yeah, but the episode clearly writes that is a wrong move.
But he is clearly a man who is grieving, and that can do.
And so's his daughter.
That can do very strange things to people.
And so's his daughter.
But grief, as we all know, grief can draw people together. It can push people apart.
And also, obviously, just wanting to echo something where we said about Graham's shitty treatment. It's like Graham's mourning the death of his wife, and it's like, come on, Graham, we're fucking off now. And yeah, that's brushed over at the end of it. Then,
we're not going to agree on this one. But what I will say before we draw a line under it and move on to the next thing is, I will say, big up to Ellie Woolwork, who is absolutely fantastic and brilliant in this. And is actually just a really, really lovely lady and one of the nicest people that you can meet on a convention circuit.
Definitely.
Love.
If you get the chance, take the time out and do it.
Yeah, love Ellie to bits. And like any listeners, if you get the opportunity, she's doing an event near you, go and meet her. She's fucking brilliant.
Absolutely. Empress of Mars is next. Terrible.
How is Empress of Mars above the Seeds of Death?
Ridiculous. I forget it exists. End of Time. How is it above?
Lucky you.
How is it above any of this? End of Time is one of the most dog shit overrated pieces of trash the Doctor's ever produced.
Its Tennant stands. I can tell you without even looking at the fucking sheet who's marked that up.
It's Richard and Connor really giving it the big in on the 9. But yeah, no, it's not even a 4 really for me. I think I bucked a bit higher than that, but it's as a send off.
It just rehashes. The end of it just rehashes Journey's End and shits all over Journey's End in the process. The only thing that I would have done at the end of it would have just been the scene where the Doctor goes back to New Year on the Palace Estate and meets Rose before he's met Rose. That's the only thing that I would have done. All the rest of those, I'm checking on you, I'm making sure you're all right. Fuck off, you've already done that like a year ago.
Yeah, I think as well.
Although
I've
the
never
Wilf bit still breaks me every time.
I've never understood the Doctor going through this period of being a douchebag when we're meant to care that he's leaving, because I don't care. So when he is mega douchebag 10th Doctor, he's like, oh, I'm gonna leave now, I don't want to go, I'm crying, and everyone's supposedly crying with him. Like, no, fuck off, you prick, you're gonna leave Wilf. You're literally questioning whether or not to leave Wilf, the kindest, sweetest man in Doctor Who history, in a fuck, like, no, it's so poorly written. The villain's
Obviously, you
terrible.
haven't seen
I mean,
Doctor.
But
yeah,
but does the Doctor leave Wilf?
I mean, you say it's poorly written. Have you seen the video that was doing the rounds today? The end of
No.
time, it was written by Chris Chibnall.
Oh yes,
It's
I
all
saw
right.
that.
It's
I
all
didn't-
right. It's all right. It's all right. Leave me. Oh, all right then.
But I have to say, it ruins John Sims' master. He's terrible at it. I don't like the whole chips, chicken. Oh, he's so hungry all the time. It's so,
I love chicken.
It's so shit. Like,
I mean,
considering
it's a waste of David Harewood.
yes, it is. It is indeed. Another one that shithoused itself, which was equal to these, was At the End of the World. It should be in the bottom 50. It's
What?
It's poor.
I mean, I know you're not an Eccleston fan, but no, not in the bottom.
Right,
Alex,
let's talk-
this story for a modern audience
Don't
is
give a
the
fuck.
first story
Don't
you
give a
it's
fuck.
the first story you
Don't care.
have of them traveling to space
Off-world,
and
yeah.
time off world. Where are you gonna go? The end of the world. And you get to meet all these different aliens. It's the perfect introduction for the fans back in 2005.
See, what I'm noticing here is that Elijah's making some very coherent arguments, and Alex is just going, "I don't care."
I don't care.
Don't care.
Look,
Don't
I
care.
get.
Now, dear listener, I will allow you to listen to these two very well constructed arguments and decide which of the two is more convincing.
Right. Look.
Comment down below.
For me, The End of the World is one of the most boring, arduous, waste of time stories. Nothing happens.
Did we watch the same story?
Nothing happens.
I hate the whole.
Excuse
I
me.
hate the whole wind.
happens.
I hate
The
the whole
world's
wind.
exploding, and they're playing fucking Britney.
Yes, and that is
Everything
Alex.
happens.
and that is
First
the
thing-
worst plot
From-
you've just said. The end of the world happening, and they're
Alex.
playing Britney.
Alex,
Think about
Alex, I give you farts from my arse.
Thank you very much.
Think about this, Alex. Russell writes a story where, as I mentioned, in company, pulls out, we're traveling to the future, off world, but then you also have a connection with Rose, just kind of the whole shock of it, then realizing my planet's fucking gone.
No,
You know what I
okay,
mean?
that bit I like. I
Like-
like the location. I like the concept of the traveling to the end of the world. The issue is the characters meet along the way. They're all assholes. I don't like any of them. I don't like the tree lady. I don't like Eccleston in it. I think it's.
I mean, to
possibly
be fair,
its worst performance in the series.
Cassandra's meant to be an arsehole.
Yes, the Mox Balhoun looks cool. I don't
And
like.
Eccleston's been traveling around without a companion, so he's not being used to having the human company around him. So that excuses him from being an arsehole.
No, see again, it comes down to I don't like the Doctor being an asshole to anybody. It comes down to personal taste. I don't like the weird wind turbine finale and the tree gets too hot and burns up. I think it's terrible. We leave and they
What
go,
do you
yeah, I
like,
want
Alex?
chips.
What?
And
It's
What do you like?
It's a
Be
tree.
positive.
It's a tree.
something I like.
It's
in it.
a
I like.
tree.
Okay. It's got a good soundtrack. Like you say, it's got Britney. It's got soft cell. Rose
Alex,
is good in
it's
it.
a tree.
Rose is good in it.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, he's putting Demons of the Punjab in his top 50.
Yeah, and not being funny. You have the bit at the end of it where the Doctor and Rose go back to Earth, And
That's terrible.
no, it's not. It's because it's giving your companion perspective.
Maybe I need to go back and rewatch this one.
Well, obviously, because I don't think you watched the right episode.
And then we have Horns of Daimon. How is it shithoused itself to 160? Should be in the bottom 10. I actually there's 149. To be fair, I'll say this in defense of it. I don't remember much of it because I got absolutely wankered. As you guys know.
Yeah, you got absolutely wankered and offended everybody else that was doing a drunk watch along with you at the time with your shit opinions on it.
Yes.
It's fun. It's
No,
just
it's
harmless fun.
I'm not. Again, I wanted to
Enjoy it.
watch it without drinking.
And it's also one of Romana 2's best stories, actually.
And we leave today.
I think you need to ask Ad about the Horns of Nimon before you draw a line under that one, Chief.
Okay, ads.
Hurry up, I'm busting for a wee.
Good or not good?
Superb. I just absolutely enjoy it. As John was saying, it's a great story for Romana 2 and Graham Crowden. Every scene, literally any scene, any frame that he is in, glorious, unwasted. You're there, you're having a laugh, and just that iconic confrontation with Romana and Soldeed at the end is perfection, and the dialogue smash.
I don't remember the end. I'm going to be honest. But we do end today with the android invasion. It's just all right, isn't it? I think it's
it's probably about well placed. I think it's a little bit of a missed opportunity. I think it's a rare example of a classic story that probably should have been a couple of episodes longer, because you get the 3 episodes on the Krall's home planet and then they all go back down to Earth and it's all over in like an episode. And actually 2 or 3 episodes of them instigating the Krall's plan would have been quite nice. And I still consider, and sorry, spoilers for the android invasion if anybody hasn't seen it, the biggest shark jump in the history of Doctor Who is a man who's walking around with an eye patch for years and never actually thinks to look under his fucking eye patch.
There we go.
And why didn't the Kralls just whip out his fucking eye?
Oh, thank God you said that. I think you said whip out, and I was like, what? What episode we watching?
It's a Hinchcliffe story, not a Barrowman.
But yes, guys, that is where we leave it today. So in the next episode 101, we will be going through the top 147 Doctor Who episodes. But I just want to say before we do wrap ups, thank you very much for 100 episodes and everyone that's jumped on board. It's been lovely to do it with these people and anybody else that's gone on an episode. A lot of fun getting into these debates like we have this evening at certain points. And yes, maybe there'll be 100 more. Who knows? We'll find out.
Fucking better be.
We like to think, wouldn't you? But yes, of course, because John's bursting for a wee, I shall do this quickly. Follow John at johnboy_cook on the social medias. You can follow. Elijah's not on here very often. It doesn't roll off the tongue. Is it eCrailing1?
Yes, on Twitter and eCrailing on Instagram.
Yes. You can follow Mamoon at beer_can_Batman on the socials. Rees at GF97, YouTuber, and Beef at the Beefhead for all your beef tweet needs. For those who have them. And you follow me at King_Tom. What?
Make sure to check out, there will be a link below if you'd like to donate to the GoFundMe to help Alex Kingdom come to LA to attend Gallifrey 1 next year.
I plugged it the other week.
There's now
there'll be
a live timeless podcast apparently.
There will be a live timeless podcast from LA if we can get Alex out there.
Yes.
Alex may not be alive at the end of it.
That's where the podcast ends. The vlog that I film will be the last that you see of me.
It's just found footage because I know how much you like found footage.
It's Sleep No More, but the Thomas podcast edition.
It'll be as brilliant as the LFCC vlog that he did, but he'll be jet lagged.
exactly.
Yeah.
So yes, but no, generally one more time. Thank you for 100 episodes. Here's to 100 more and however many more. And we'll see you guys all soon next week, where the 6 of us return to talk about more positive Who, and we see which takes.
And Jodie Whittaker episodes.
I don't want to. I don't want to leave the 100th episode on that. Oh my god!
Well, you're not going to. Well, you're not going to leave it on that because I get to do my outro, don't I?
He does, yeah.
Good night. God bless. Don't have nightmares. Do sleep well. See you next week, Pop Pickers. Janet Ellis. Whoa.